Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. I'm joined today by The Athletic's David Aldridge. David and I talk about rookie quarterback Dwayne Haskins' first start, what we liked, where there's some room for improvement, and should he continue to start. And then it's on to my observations where I talk about things other than Dwayne Haskins with a little Haskins sprinkled in. Before I get on to my talk with David Aldridge, just a reminder that on November 18th, I will be doing a live podcast with Bram Weinstein from City Tap in Ashburn. Please join us. Now, on to my conversation with The Athletic's David Aldridge. So now I'm joined by David Aldridge from The Athletic. But he's at first, before we get going, he's a guy that I've long admired for his reporting skills, the ability to provide insight, and that's why I'm going to bring him on today to talk about Dwayne Haskins after his first start. And David, first of all, what did you see from him? What kind of jumps out at you initially?
Well, I mean, look, it was he's got a long way to go.
Yes.
But, he did some good things out there. It wasn't all, awful. It was, in fact, there was a lot of good. I thought, if the concern was get him out of the huddle, be ready to play, and let everybody on the same page, I thought for the most part they were today.
Yeah.
They were aligned correctly, I think, offensively. There may have been a couple of times where he didn't get the protection call the way they wanted it. But I thought his throws were okay. It's hard to tell because I don't know if it was the wind or the Bills. I don't know, but they didn't take any shots. They weren't taking shots. They took nothing down the field. So
which surprised me a little bit.
A little bit. I thought, I think you have to at some point take a shot down the field. But, I know they had a high safety end.
Right.
But so I thought it was okay. He made some good throws. I thought the best throw was against the blitz. The blitz came off of his right side.
Out to the right.
And he threw it right where the blitz came
First
from,
down.
which is what you're supposed to do, and got a first down.
He also, on that play, he also changed his arm angle a little bit too. I think he had to throw it sidearm, but it's a nice ball delivering it too. Yeah. So there's some poise with that as well.
And the pass was low, and only Richardson could get it. So he did those things were good. He had a good throw to McLaurin, I thought. Missed a couple guys. Missed Quinn. Had Quinn open. He underthrew Harmon late in the game.
Yeah.
That would have been a first down. And then Quinn was open again, but that was when he got sacked. He didn't have any time.
And I didn't think he was going to have time on that because at first I wasn't sure. But the Harmon one, do you think part of this too, and it's funny because the bar seemed to be set low because everybody's heard about how far away he is.
Yeah.
And like the operational part is where they wanted him to get better at. Mm-hmm. And in talking to people before the game, that was what they wanted to see, get him in and out of the huddle, all that. So I don't want to say maybe the bar is set low is the wrong way, but they're really looking to see the foundation of his game. And is that more, I think
he is, he's probably got different challenges to him because of his background with only the one season of real college football. That sets him back a little bit in terms of experience. My only argument is, where are they going?
Right.
They're 1-8. Where are they going?
Well, that's the question. Is like because Callahan's asked after the game, is he going to start? And of course, I don't think after the game he's going to commit to that.
Right. Sure. And he's got a bye week. I understand.
He's got a bye week, but it doesn't seem like there's really any choice here. Is there?
I don't know what the point of playing Case Keenum or Colt McCoy another second this season made for this team.
and I think players in that locker room, if you communicate, because listen, players still want to win. These veterans still want to win.
Of course they do.
And they know, like, hey, this guy is better right now. But if you go to them and say, we're playing this kid because he's the future of the franchise, I think guys are going, whether or not they like it, they're going to at least understand
it.
I think there's some things that go on here that they don't understand.
Correct.
I think that'd be easy to understand.
I think they would understand that. People understand what a franchise quarterback does for a team. And the only argument I have is you don't have enough evidence to make a decision about this guy.
Right.
You have to be able to make a decision after this year. Keep him, don't keep him, but you don't have enough intel.
No.
That's the only way you're going to find out is to put him on the field.
And I'll be honest, like I saw a difference in him in pregame.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a difference in the way he walked, carried himself.
Yeah.
He seemed more confident. And maybe because I know like the body language was kind of an issue earlier on.
Yeah.
But maybe some guys just need to have this going on for them to get them ready?
I think most guys, especially in football, it's just different when you're not starting.
Yeah.
I just think you're different. Everything's different in terms of all the different ways you communicate to other people. And I just think you've got to know that you're starting, and you just do everything differently when you're starting, I think, and especially at quarterback. I just think it's a big deal.
And how did you feel like guys reacted to him?
I think they seemed to rally to him. I mean, I think, all of them, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people said, independent of one another, I talked to him this week, I talked to him this week. I think they all understand that for this franchise to get turned around, they have to have a franchise quarterback. And again, I don't know if Dwayne Haskins is a franchise quarterback.
I don't.
We have to find out.
And that's the thing, is we can all hear things. You're going to hear things throughout the weeks from whomever about everything, but you still need to go see it and
play.
Yeah, because you don't know. Like, the thing you always learn is you don't know how guys respond to situations, and that's my big thing with him. Is okay, you played poorly against Minnesota. What's your response?
Yeah.
Now you have this to build on. What's your response to this?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I
I think that's a big thing in sports, and I think that's one thing that is so that's like, to me, if they get out of the season, getting a feel for the foundation of his game, whatever the results are. I mean, listen. You're not throwing to a bunch of all pros out there right now.
Sure.
You don't have a tight end to go to in the red zone, and so it's really hard to get a feel for the results oriented folks. But I think it's the process that you have to look at.
Correct.
And that phrase from covering the NBA for so long.
But there's some truth to it. I mean, there's some truth to it, and it makes sense. And I wrote this today. If they were
in the Athletic,
if they were 4 and 5, I would totally understand going back to KC. If they were 3 and 6, I would understand going back to. They're 1 and 8.
Yeah, there is no good reason.
There's nothing to play for other than to find out who this guy is.
And that is the main story. And going forward, and I think, like I said, I think guys would understand that. A couple weeks ago, I don't think they would have gotten.
We're still in it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, technically still in it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them still. We can get hot. We can win 7 or 8 in a row. That's the mentality of every player. We heard Andrew and Peterson say it even today. Well, we can finish 8 and 8 and make the playoffs. Well, sure, and I could grow a few more inches and date Halle Berry, but it's probably not going to happen this year.
It probably won't happen because I probably date her first.
Exactly.
She and I do share Cleveland roots, so I hate to tell you.
That's right. That's right.
What else? Like, when you've been around him, what's the vibe that you get from Dwayne? Have you feel you've been around him?
John, you guys are around him a lot more than I am. I kind of parachute in and out and see him for a few minutes at a time. He seems a little withdrawn, and I don't. Maybe that's just him as a person, or maybe it's the totality and the enormity of what he's being tasked to do here and learning this job. I mean, all of that. So I don't have a real read on the young man. I think he wants to be great from everything I've heard, but he probably doesn't know how. I mean, that's the thing you got to remember. He doesn't know how to be great in this league.
That's the other thing, too, because I think when you come in the league, I mean, he's a 22-year-old kid.
Yeah.
They need him to be a 30-year-old man at quarterback. And some guys like Terry McLaurin comes in, and Terry's like a 10-year vet right away. Exactly. Not everybody's built like that. And that's why I just wonder if there's like a way that you have to really understand how to reach guys.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think quarterback is the most scrutinized position in all of sports. Right. And it's not close. And I think because of that, there's very few people that really understand the pressures that a starting NFL quarterback are under and how difficult the position is. So I'm agnostic on him just because I don't think we've seen enough to be able to make a judgment that makes any sense. Well, and again, John, this is a team, they're going to have a top 3 pick in all likelihood.
I know. Definitely. And the problem, like I said, we can hear things, and you can hear whatever going on in the background and all that, but you still want to see, because I know that there have been a lot of quarterbacks in the league who you've heard a lot of things over the years who end up doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So you don't I know what I hear now. I know what people were saying 6 weeks ago, but let's see it now. And again, I felt like I saw a different kid in his poise after the game.
He seemed a lot better.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot better on the field. There was not that kind of there's 12 seconds and they're not out of the huddle yet. You know, that was gone today.
Right.
And I thought that was a lot better.
That's a step. Last thing on here, just looking at the organization in general.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? This is your first year back being around them. What do you make of it?
I'm as dumbfounded as I've ever been.
I wasn't sure if you'd use dumbfounded or flummoxed.
About what they, I was talking to somebody before the game, and I just wonder if Dan Snyder understands how bad this is right now.
I don't know if he does.
I mean, because you know what, and I don't mean this pejoratively. I mean it because it's what happens. When you have that much money, you don't have to live in reality. You can live in a hermetically sealed bubble where you're only surrounded by people that you know and that are friends of yours, and that tell you everything's great. And I just wonder if he understands how toxic it is right now.
I don't know that he does.
I don't know if he does either.
I think we'll see based on the moves in the offseason how much he gets it and what they're looking for. I mean, what would be your recipe for turning this thing around? It's not easy either. I mean,
no, it's not. But he's not selling the team, so I mean that's not going to happen. It starts with Bruce Allen.
Right.
People don't like Bruce Allen. They don't. I don't know how you can make the argument that they do. They don't. And they want him gone. And at some point, you have to listen to your fans, I think. Not because they know more, because they don't. But they're buying the tickets.
Well, like the way you sell tickets in this league, it used to be off success. Now you got to sell it off hope.
Right.
And I think if Haskins doesn't progress the way they need, it's going to be hard to sell it off that.
Right.
I think for fans, I think they would probably buy more if he made a change at the top.
I think you have to. And if you want to, there's an easy off ramp. If you want to put Bruce Allen in charge of a new stadium, and fine, but he has to get out of the hierarchy, I think, of the franchise going forward. Because I think that, again, I don't think that they are bereft of talent. They've got some talent on this team.
I agree.
They just don't have any direction or focus.
I think that's been true. Like, my thing with the organization is what's the organizational philosophy, the blueprint of the organization, and that's where I think it's always been lacking for years. And I don't know that. I think that, to me, under Callahan, was the thing you got to reestablish is who you, from a coaching perspective, who are you as a team in the locker room and all that.
Yeah.
But that's still, when you talk culture, it's everybody I talk to is like, can it just exist from the coach on down? It's like, it really can't. It can get to a certain point, but to create a winning situation, which is consistently winning, it starts at the top.
Well, you can't, because even a coach has parameters, right? And so look, Bill Belichick has complete control, but he's earned that, one. And two, the rest of the organization is not in conflict with the head coach.
Right.
And that seems to be a problem here.
It does seem to be a problem. And it always gets out, too.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So, I think that filters down to the players.
Right.
And that creates a bad situation all the way around.
Exactly.
And it creates a lot of headaches for us, too. But
it just is unfortunate. And juxtaposed to what I was just covering, which is the Nationals, it's just completely different. It's
because
so
when you're
different.
around them, how different? I'm not around them anymore.
Completely different. I mean, just in terms of the complete backing they gave Davey Martinez at 19 and 31.
Right.
Complete backing. There was not a scintilla of, I don't know, I'm not sure. They backed him. Mike Rizzo backed him completely.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going down with this guy. He's our guy. We're going down with him. And it shows throughout the organization, I think. And it doesn't mean they've always been successful, but they're at least coherent.
Right. I think they know what they want. So they have a blueprint, and I think that's important. So anyway, Dave, thanks a lot for joining me.
John. Appreciate it.
All right, man. After this break, I'll be back with my observations. What did I see from Terry McLaurin in the locker room after the game? What about Adrian Peterson? Why is he still so valuable? And more. Okay, time for the observations. Number one, the losing is obviously taking a toll, and you can see it on the face of young guys, especially receiver Terry McLaurin. He is someone who's talked whenever asked after games in the open locker room. Very professional. Well, he declined to talk today. I'm not making an issue out of that because I don't think it is one from the standpoint that we couldn't talk to him. I just think it speaks to the situation. And you can just see the anguish on his face. You could see it today in the locker room as he was leaving, headphones on, and he looked pained. He's already lost more this season in his first 9 games than he did during his entire time at Ohio State. He is obviously someone who's used to winning, does the little things it takes to win. They have only one win. But this is the sort of guy you need a lot more of if you want to turn this around in the next few years. They can't reach on guys anymore in the draft. Guys like Jaron Christian, they went for talent. He doesn't have the makeup to be a really good player, so they missed on him. You need more guys like McLaurin. Not just it's hard to find guys, but guys who are culture setters, guys who are really good leaders, guys who take a certain approach. Then you obviously need some talent with that, and that's what McLaurin has. But he hasn't done enough. He hasn't, like with McLaurin, he hasn't done enough to be a big team leader yet, but he is someone who will be soon. He had to be frustrated today because of the attention Buffalo paid him, and there was another game where the offense couldn't score a touchdown and they didn't win. The losing bothered him after only a few weeks here. I can't imagine how it makes him feel now. However, I got a big-time clue today. Number 2, the red zone issues just won't go away this year. The Redskins failed twice in the red zone today. They don't have the necessary weapons to make it work, so it's almost all dependent on calling the perfect play at the perfect time. To go 13 quarters without a touchdown is awfully, awfully difficult in the NFL. I always go back to what I hear from great quarterbacks such as Peyton Manning, who will say that running the ball in the red zone is a must. But to capitalize, you need to have more than that. And Washington does not have more than that right now. They wanted to be conservative with Haskins in the red zone because they don't want him turning it over. So some of the plays they ran could be considered day one installs. That limits the plays here as well, but so do the weapons. They desperately need a tight end presence in the passing game, and that would help dramatically in the red zone. It would help elsewhere too. On one play, and I'm kind of struggling to remember which one, but there's a play in which Jeremy Sprinkle ran down the right seam. The safety doesn't go over toward him, doesn't seem to even flinch toward him. Instead, it helps go on the other side to double McLaurin. Had it been a talent such as a Jordan Reed or Vernon Davis, perhaps either they're open or the safety eyes them and McLaurin is open. But nobody is threatened at all by Sprinkle. Not a knock on him, just the reality. He's not open, and now McLaurin isn't either. Finding a pass-catching tight end is among the offseason priorities. A guy like that would help in the red zone. Number 3, the Redskins absolutely went with a conservative game plan, and I know one player in the locker room who told me he thought coordinator Kevin O'Connell called a fantastic game given the situation he had to work with. A rookie quarterback they wanted to sit all season going against a terrific defense on the road and with the head coach who wants to run the ball all the time. Not every great coaching job results in a lot of points or big-time wins. But they wanted to protect Haskins against a defense that ranked third against the pass and had safeties who do a good job of conning quarterbacks. The fact that Haskins didn't throw a pick and wasn't close to one was a win. But it also didn't result in any touchdowns. And to do that, they're going to have to take some more shots and let him make some of those downfield mistakes. I do think a lot of guys like Haskins in this organization. It does seem he wants to do well and to be in position to want to do well. I know he's reached out to Doug Williams at times, something RG3, for example, never did. Williams is a good sounding board for him and someone who can give him advice or share a quarterback tip, and they've done that. After the Minnesota game, my understanding is that Williams texted him and pointed out in the interception, he said everything was good, you just got to step into the throw. And that was it. That's why the pass sailed. So that's good to hear from a guy like that. It's a good relationship for Haskins to have. Anyway, back to the game plan. The Redskins want to build Haskins' confidence. That means taking little steps in his development. Those of you who wanted him in now, this is what you're going to get. He's a talented kid, but also a passer in the infant stages of his development. Therefore, I don't think they want to put him in too many situations where he can make killer mistakes. They need to start building his game by getting his confidence to a certain level and then trying like hell to keep it there. Again, there's going to be some times in the future you just have no choice but to attack more, but I think they're going to be very conservative with it for now. Number 4, the Redskins need to find another corner or two who can help. I like most of what Quinton Dunbar has done this season, but Josh Norman just isn't helping, and they could use more depth there regardless. They need a free safety as well. I don't think you can trust Monte Nicholson to stay healthy, and nobody else on the roster should start at that position. I'd also like them to more strongly consider going to a 4-3 next season, something there was a chance of happening, however big, I don't know, but that was a chance last offseason. Some of you know that I have not blamed their defensive issues in recent years on playing a 3-4. They play a lot of nickel anyways, and there are a lot of 4-3 elements. Other excellent defenses somehow manage to run a successful 3-4. It's about finding the right personnel, and I don't think the Redskins ever really have. And I think it starts with you don't have that big nose tackle to really clog the middle. You have some really good tackles inside, but you don't have that one stud as a nose tackle, the pure nose tackle. And I think you also haven't been getting the production out of the outside linebackers that you need, because if you don't have a really good nose tackle, you damn well better have high production from the outside, and that's not what they're getting. I think the Redskins do have the ability to switch if they want to do so this offseason. I don't think it's good for Ryan Kerrigan to be dropping into coverage at this point. He could be a very good situational guy in a 4-3 with Montez Sweat at an end as well. You could not put them both in the game at that spot in a base 4-3, but I do think it's something that they should consider and let Landon Collins be more of an in-the-box safety and even more than he is now. They might need another piece or two at linebacker. I think Ryan Anderson could be a good strong side backer at 4-3. And I don't even know why I brought this up. It's just something I was thinking about today when you start looking to the future. It's not as if the defense was horrible all game. They were on the first 3 drives. They allowed 268 yards. A lot of that came in the first quarter. They were bad again on third downs. I think it was 6 for 12 today. That's a problem, I think, for a lot of reasons. But this defense should be better, and there are changes that will be made and some that could be made, and I think they all would help. Now on the last one, number 5. It's still fun to watch running back Adrian Peterson run the ball. There were a couple times I saw cuts that he could have made better, that could have led to bigger runs, and he always talks about that after the game too, but he's such a valuable part of this team. The one thing you know with Peterson is that he will continue to prepare a certain way. I know some people probably would have liked to see the Redskins trade him for whatever they could get before the deadline. I know his efforts today did not result in the win, but I would also want guys like him running the ball, because you know he's going to keep trying to win, or at least to get every yard imaginable. After the game, he was asked about the 1-8 record. He said they could still finish 8-8. Well, clearly everybody's going to kind of chuckle at that, and I'm sure many of you would mock him for saying that. In fact, I think that would be an easy thing to think. But the alternative is quitting, in which case fans would get very mad at that as well. So yes, while maybe it would have been good to get traded, to get maybe a 7th round pick, I also don't think it's the worst thing for young guys to see a future Hall of Fame running back playing a certain way in a lost season. Anyways, that's it for now. After another ugly game, I want to thank David Aldridge from The Athletic, read his work there, for joining me. I always appreciate his insights. And I also want to thank you for continuing to listen. Hang in there.
Hey, come check out a live taping of the John Keim Report. It's going to take place on Monday, November 18th at City Tap in Loudon 1 out in Ashburn, Virginia. Start time around 8 o'clock. It'll end at 9 p.m. In the show notes, you can find the Eventbrite invitation that you can RSVP to ensure that you get seats. It's free to show up. And if you can't find the invitation in the show notes, shoot me an email and I'll send you a link directly to you for you to sign up. You can find me at Bram, B-R-A-M, at ampiremedia.com, A-M-P-I-R-E media.com. Bram at ampiremedia.com, and we look forward to seeing you on the 18th at City Tap Loudon.